History Secrets.
A curious question arises when we observe human history. How do extremely united groups emerge? Groups capable of acting with absolute discipline, and that seem to possess an almost unbreakable loyalty among their members. To explore this question, imagine a thought experiment. Imagine an isolated island. No one knows where it is, and no one can escape from it. At the center of this island, there is a relatively safe place, a protected hill, but the rest of the island is extremely dangerous. Aggressive creatures roam everywhere, and anyone who leaves the center must face them to obtain resources. Now imagine that, for some mysterious reason, 100 men appear on this island. They come from different countries, they speak different languages, they have different cultures, and they share almost nothing in common. Most of them are poor, few have had formal education, none of them were prepared to survive in that hostile environment. And at the beginning, the situation seems completely hopeless. They cannot even communicate. They have no defined leadership, and they know that any attempt to explore the island involves extreme risks. It would be natural to imagine that this group would collapse quickly. But human history shows something surprising. In situations of extreme survival, communities can transform rapidly, and what happens in this hypothetical scenario is exactly that. The first thing that emerges is a common language. Even if each person speaks a different language, they begin to create a basic system of communication. Mixed words, gestures, simple expressions. In a short time, everyone can understand each other. Next, something even more powerful emerges, a shared narrative. Each person begins to tell their own story, where they came from, what they lost, what they expect from the future. Over time, these individual stories begin to transform into a collective myth, a founding myth, a narrative that explains why that group exists, and why it needs to survive. In many historical cases, these myths end up taking on a spiritual dimension. The group begins to believe it has a special mission, a mission chosen by higher forces. This belief strengthens collective determination. From there, rituals emerge. Rituals serve to reinforce identity and belonging. They create emotional bonds among group members and help maintain cohesion during difficult moments. Another inevitable element appears quickly: leadership. 100 people facing a hostile environment need someone to organize decisions, someone who inspires trust, someone who represents the group. Now imagine the moment when this group needs to choose a leader. An older man stands up. He has experience. He speaks well. He explains strategies to face the dangers of the island. His speech is intelligent and persuasive. But then, something unexpected happens. A young man stands up. He does not give a speech. He does not present complex plans. Instead, he does something simple. He shows his own hand, and with a knife he cuts his own skin in front of everyone, without hesitation, without showing fear. The gesture is silent, but it conveys a powerful message: sacrifice, commitment, absolute willingness to suffer for the group. At that moment, the choice of leader becomes clear. The most eloquent man may become an advisor, but the leader will be the one who demonstrated he was willing to die for the others. This type of leadership appears repeatedly in human history. Leaders who inspire, not only through intelligence, but through their willingness to take extreme risks for the collective. Over time, this group on the island begins to change deeply. Even though they were weak at the beginning, they learned to become strong. Even though they were poor and disorganized, they learned strategy. They develop discipline, mutual trust, and an almost absolute loyalty. Gradually, something even more interesting emerges. Cohesion, a form of psychological bond so strong that the group begins to function almost like a single organism. In social psychology, this is sometimes described as a collective mind. When individuals share intense experiences over long periods, their decisions and reactions begin to align. They begin to anticipate each other's behavior. Think of a highly trained sports team. Players seem to anticipate the movements of their teammates. Passes happen without verbal communication. Everyone seems to act in perfect synchrony. This synchronicity does not arise by chance. It is born from deep trust, shared training, and experiences built over time. In extreme situations, this bond can become even stronger. Soldiers in combat often report this type of connection. They can perceive the emotional state of their companions almost instantly. Now imagine a scenario of danger on the island. One of the group members goes out to gather wood. He moves far away from the camp, and then he is attacked. Perhaps he is too far away to shout, but his companions may sense that something is wrong. A feeling, a premonition. This experience is often compared to the bond between parents and children. Many mothers report feeling when something is wrong with their children, even when they are in another country. If this community on the island remains together for years, its cohesion can become extraordinary. Each member learns to fully trust the others, and when the moment of extreme danger arrives, difficult decisions can happen instantly. Imagine that a group is fleeing from dangerous creatures. They cross an improvised bridge. 9 manage to cross, but the 10th realizes something terrible. If the creatures cross the bridge, everyone will die. So he makes a decision. He cuts the rope of the bridge, knowing that this means his own death. This type of sacrifice appears repeatedly in history. Soldiers who throw themselves onto grenades to save their companions. People who risk their own lives to protect the group. When a community lives through experiences like this for years, its collective identity becomes extremely powerful. And now imagine the end of this thought experiment. After 20 years surviving together on the island, everyone is mysteriously transported back to the real world. They return to their old lives, but they carry something that no one else has. A shared experience, a deep identity, a network of absolute loyalty. Naturally, these people would seek each other out again. They would gather their children. They would pass on their stories. They would preserve their rituals. Over time, this network could grow. Their descendants would inherit not only wealth or social position, but also a secret culture of cohesion and loyalty. And this is where the provocative question arises. What if many powerful groups in history emerged from similar experiences? Extreme experiences that created highly united communities. Secret societies, initiatory orders, elite groups. Perhaps they all began in the same way. Small groups that went through intense trials, and that developed absolute trust among their members. If this hypothesis is correct, it helps explain why certain groups seem to exert influence for generations, because their strength is not only in wealth or power, but in something deeper: cohesion, loyalty, and collective identity. The island theory does not intend to claim that a specific secret society rules the world. It proposes something simpler, a way to understand how extremely united human groups can emerge. History shows that small communities with strong cohesion can exert disproportionate influence, even when they are numerically small, because their strength is not only in material resources, but in absolute trust among their members. Think of elite military orders. Think of academic fraternities. Think of ancient religious brotherhoods. All these groups share something in common: rituals, founding narratives, and transformative experiences that create deep loyalty. This loyalty allows the group to function almost like a single organism. Decisions can be made quickly, information flows with trust, and strategies are executed with discipline. This does not necessarily mean that these groups conspire to dominate the world, but it does mean they may possess important advantages: coordination, trust, and continuity across generations. Many historical elites emerged in this way. Small circles that shared similar education, similar experiences, similar values. Over time, these networks became extremely influential. Prestigious universities, military institutions, initiatory orders, all function, in a sense, as communities of trust. The island theory suggests that this type of network can be born from extreme situations: wars, exiles, deep crises, moments when small groups need to fully trust one another to survive. When these experiences occur, something powerful emerges: a collective identity, a shared narrative, a common culture. This culture may include symbols, stories, ceremonies, and even unique languages that only members fully understand. These elements create an extremely strong sense of belonging. Stronger, at times, than ordinary family ties, stronger than temporary political alliances. And when this type of bond spans generations, it becomes tradition. Children inherit not only assets, but also an identity, a mission, a worldview. That is why many ancient organizations have complex initiation rituals. They do not serve only as symbolic ceremonies. They recreate, in a controlled way, transformative experiences. Experiences that bring new members closer to the original culture of the group. These rituals may include challenges, trials, moments of vulnerability. All of this helps reinforce mutual trust. When someone goes through an intense experience alongside other members, the psychological bond strengthens. This is a dynamic recognized in various fields of social psychology. But the island theory also raises a deeper question: what truly defines leadership? In the island thought experiment, the leader was not chosen for his intelligence, nor for his eloquence. He was chosen for demonstrating sacrifice, for showing that he was willing to suffer for the group. This display of commitment created instant trust. Throughout history, many leaders emerged in the same way. They gained followers not only through ideas, but through courage, through personal example, through a willingness to take risks. This type of leadership inspires something powerful: devotion. When followers believe their leader shares their sacrifices, loyalty strengthens. And this loyalty can sustain entire communities, social movements, religious orders, revolutionary groups. The island theory, therefore, is not just a reflection on secret societies. It is a reflection on human nature, on how communities are formed, and on how loyalty and identity can shape history. At its core, it suggests something simple. In moments of crisis, small groups can transform in extraordinary ways. They can develop bonds so strong that they survive for generations. These bonds can build institutions, they can shape cultures, and sometimes they can even influence the destiny of entire societies. Perhaps that is why stories of fraternities, secret orders, and invisible elites continue to fascinate so many people. They reflect a deep intuition, the intuition that behind the visible structures of society, there are invisible human networks. networks of trust, of shared memory, of collective identity. And if the island theory is at least partially correct, then many of these networks may have emerged in the same way. Small groups, great trials, and a silent promise to remain united. In the end, perhaps the true secret of these communities is not power, but something much simpler: loyalty, trust, and the human ability to create meaning even in the most difficult situations. Because when people face the impossible together, they rarely return the same. And sometimes, those changes end up shaping the world in ways that few can perceive. The history of humanity is a journey, filled with discoveries, enigmas, and mysteries. Some have been understood, others still challenge our understanding. And it is precisely in these mysteries that we find the most fascinating questions. Subscribe to the channel and continue exploring the secrets of history. Because some secrets of history are still waiting to be revealed.